How to use AI in everyday productivity tools like spreadsheets and Google Sheets. AI has come a long way in recent years, and it's now embedded in your everyday productivity tools. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use Gemini AI within Google Spreadsheets to analyze data from a survey. This is a real-world use case from beginning to end, and I'm going to show you how to use Gemini AI to help us analyze and understand and extract insights from unstructured survey data. So just to set the stage, this is a survey that I launched just yesterday for business owners to help me understand their process and biggest challenges in relation to creating content. Most of the survey is pretty unstructured, asking questions like this, multiple choice questions with the option to indicate other and type your own custom response. Okay, and we have almost 200 responses so far. This simple Google form is hooked up to a spreadsheet over here. And this is what we're going to analyze with Gemini AI. So first log into your Google workspace and then open up a spreadsheet. It can have any kind of data, numerical, unstructured, or a mix of both. In this particular case, most of this survey data is pretty unstructured text. And first I'm going to point out the two ways to enable Gemini. Okay, so up here in the top bar over here, you can see Gemini, and it has all kinds of options here already. Analyze data, generate charts, pivot table, generate table, image, formula, summarize text, categorize text, sentiment analysis, or ask something else. So there's a second way to access Gemini, which is usually what I'm doing. So in the top right corner, you can click Ask Gemini, and this is a ChatGPT-like interface where you can go back and forth and literally ask it anything about your data. Just as a tip, one of my habits whenever I'm learning a new tool, especially an AI tool, is to ask it what it can do. So here I'm going to say, I'm new to this tool. What can you do? And now Gemini AI is going to explain literally what it can do and help you with. Data analysis and insights. You can ask direct questions about the data, uncover trends, create charts and graphics. It can do more advanced things like create formulas, create tables, pivot tables, perform quick edits. And just a couple things I'll show down here at the bottom. So sources refers to which data it's using, and you can actually have it use multiple data sources. So in this case, it's using the survey response data. Okay, this button insert means to go ahead and take Gemini's suggestions here and start manipulating your spreadsheet. So you will have to click that if you actually want Gemini to update your spreadsheet. Now, we're not going to start with a data visualization yet. We're just going to start with this first section, data analysis. So let's start with something simple, analyze data and uncover non-obvious patterns. So instead of sifting manually through hundreds or potentially thousands of unstructured responses, you can use Gemini AI to help you analyze the data, do a first pass, uncover things that look potentially interesting so that you can investigate further. The way I personally like to use it is to do kind of broad discovery work, try to figure out what trends there are, and then to filter the responses that I should read manually to really understand like the mindset of a particular customer. And by the way, just for context, this particular survey is targeted towards small businesses, and all of the questions are about the last time they published social media, what their content creation process looks like, how much they care about brand consistency in their content, whether it's them creating the content or someone else, how frequently they post, and the consequences of not posting on social media. Okay, and here's Gemini's first pass looking at the data. Key takeaway number one, high standards create the biggest bottleneck for brand conscious owners. Self-censorship is highest at the top. So among people who said that it's critical that content adheres to their brand, 66.7% report stopping a post because it didn't feel like them. Key takeaway number two, idea generation, like figuring out what should I post? What should I say on LinkedIn? What should I post on Instagram? This is the primary barrier for people who aren't posting frequently. So based on the data, business owners who post on a monthly or sporadic schedule are the most likely to say deciding what to post takes the longest, with 61% selecting this option. Now let's ask Gemini to create some visualizations. So let's say I create visualizations to help me understand. And if you have specific things you want it to make, like a bar chart or a pie chart or other specific visuals, you can request that as well. Here, I'm just doing a general pass, like, okay, let's try to figure out some patterns. Okay, now let's create some visualizations. And here are the visualizations it's created. Notice this pop-up here, charts are now live and editable. So if you click insert, it will first insert this chart into your sheet, and then it will be linked to your live data. So as you get more survey responses coming in, or you're adding more rows or records to your spreadsheet, the charts will update as well. So let's go ahead and insert them. So click insert here, okay? And boom, and click insert down here as well. Okay, cool. And you can see down here, it created new tabs for each of the visualizations. So distribution of business types, right? This is pretty interesting. I will expand this so you can see it. Okay, so in terms of survey respondents, there were a lot that did not choose one of the pre-built categories. So other was actually dominant here, but the main existing category selected is agency or consultant serving multiple clients, followed by content creator, followed by online product or SaaS. Okay, top content creation pain points. Let me expand. This is really interesting. Like, I have been in this space for a while. I work with thousands of people who create content, and it's really interesting to me that deciding what to post is almost at the same level as creating visuals. I would have expected, honestly, like creating visuals to be much more of a pain point than deciding what to post. Okay, and here's a third chart that it created. So let's go ahead and insert that as well. So you see the new tab created at the bottom. This is the publishing frequency versus importance of brand. So let's see. So for the folks who publish on a daily, brand consistency and reflection is actually not as important compared to the people who post only weekly, which is really interesting. I honestly would have guessed the opposite, that if you're posting every day, brand is very important to you. So this is a really big surprise for me as well. And now we're going to ask Gemini to do something a little bit advanced. We're going to say, add a new column containing customer seriousness score that ranks how serious this customer is when it comes to creating content and finding a solution. Now, I let this instruction be vague and open-ended on purpose, and it'll be interesting to see what Gemini should do. Okay, it actually just created a new column right there and populated it with scores, and we can read what its thought process was. So it added this new column and it filled it with a formula to rank seriousness based on a few key factors, okay? So here's the formula. If you actually click on this cell of inside the column it added, you can click on any cell. You can actually see the formula up here where normally you would have to type that out, unfortunately, but now Gemini just did it for you. So this is a really fun way to quickly explore different slices of the data, different ways to formulate metrics that represent your data and like try to understand things a little bit deeper. And the formula assigned a score by summing up points from how frequently they post, how important brand is, and the perceived impact of stopping. So just to pause here, Gemini AI took my really vague instruction, right? Here I said, add a new column with this, but that serious a customer is about creating content, but I didn't give any indication of specifically which columns to use or how to combine those columns. Gemini analyzed the structure of our data, of the spreadsheets, of the columns. It chose the 3 columns that it thought would be most relevant to creating this score, and then it decided to add them together to create that seriousness score. So the higher the score, the more serious the business owner is about maintaining a content presence and sensitive to brand consistency. You can now use this new column for further analysis or sorting, okay? And by the way, if Gemini does something that you kind of want to take back, you can click undo here. So say it didn't do the right thing or you don't want it inserted into your spreadsheet, you can just click undo here to take a step back. And now let's do something fun. Let's take one of the suggestions Gemini has. So down here, you can see 3 suggestions. If you don't want to see this all the time, especially if you have cramped vertical space, you can always say show fewer suggestions. But let's try this one. Let's ask Gemini to create a pivot table showing the average customer seriousness score by which best describes your business. So basically, what business category is the customer in? I'll go ahead and click that. And when Gemini's done, it'll say I have created a pivot table. You will most likely need to scroll all the way to the right to see it because it's going to insert it in a new sheet. Okay, so here, average of customer seriousness based on what based on how they describe their business today. So let's say we also want to sort this. Now I do want to sort this, so I'm just going to freeze the top row here. Freeze one row. And then sort sheet by column, which really did not sort it numerically. Okay, let's just ask Gemini to sort it. Sort it by average customer seriousness score. Since this is a pivot table, basically Gemini AI walked me through how to sort it. So there's like a little edit button here, should say edit. And then this is the actual pivot table editor. And then this is the sorting right now. So which best describes, if I want to sort it by average customer score, let's say descending, like the highest seriousness. Okay, so now it's sorted. Okay, well, thanks Gemini for walking me through that. And I think the biggest surprise for me just scrolling through this list is that content creators and AI automation agencies and consultants are actually in the mid-range of seriousness. It's not actually as high a pain point as some of these others scoring 876 up here. Now, this survey isn't meant to answer all of those questions, right? This survey, at least for my motivation, is just a broad survey to help me identify which people I should be talking to. So even from this result, I'm like, okay, I gotta go talk to these people and really understand why their seriousness score is so high, what tools they're using today, very specific pain points they're having today. But Gemini helps me in just a matter of minutes, right, find who is it that I should be talking to based on the fairly broad survey. Okay, and just a couple more things I'll point out. So here, if you go back to your original table containing your survey responses, there's a little icon where you can either insert a column to the right of your table or insert an AI column. So go ahead and click that. Just in general, if you see this like magic looking icon, it's probably AI. Let's go ahead and insert column. And now you can type AI equals, you put your prompt, and the range is the data that it's going to act upon. So let's say something like summarize this person's main pain point in less than 8 words with, okay. I'm not going to specify the range because I kind of just wanted to use all of the data in the spreadsheet, okay? So let's go ahead and do that. I pressed enter, and now it automatically applied it to all of the rows in this column. Click Control plus Enter, or click this check mark to autofill it and accept the suggestion. Boom. And now it's generating AI responses for each of the cells. And hopefully I have enough tokens for that. So this is pretty cool. You can kind of see it working in real time, right? So let me just close this for a sec and expand this. So I specifically said less than 8 words because I don't want to read like a full paragraph, but obviously you can type in any prompt you want. It's so fun just browsing these, like shooting and editing video content, actually creating the content too time consuming, lacking time to create new content. This is really awesome from a product marketing perspective as well, because you can just hear these like recurring pain points and how people think about it and talk about the process of content creation. Difficulty learning AI, procrastinating recording videos, producing promotional videos, blocking time, generating ideas, procrastinating, like how many times procrastinating is coming in here, paralysis from too many ideas, procrastinating, fear of content sounding fake and inauthentic, procrastinate. So Gemini has helped us with a customer seriousness score as well as a one-line summary based on everything the user responded in the survey. So now let's try one of these other ones up here. So if I click Gemini up here, another option is to categorize the text. Let's just try that. So categorize text, okay, and it's asking what our prompt should be. So let's say categorize either buyer or not buyer of a social media content creation tool. Or I would say potential buyer or not serious buyer, something like that. Okay, let's try that. Press enter and then click this or control enter to autofill this, all the rows. And I just want to point out, like just a few years ago, this would have taken a lot of work to be able to do. It's like really incredible how smooth this is, how fast this is. And I've tried different spreadsheet plugins and things like this, but by far this is a very, very smooth experience. I've also heard really good things about Claude. Now you can use it within spreadsheets and stuff. So I haven't personally tried that yet, but since I already have Google Workspace, again, Gemini is embedded here. Like this little star icon is probably in your Google Workspace and you just haven't clicked it yet. So this is really cool. So now it's like categorizing based on the responses, who's a buyer and who is not a buyer. So that is really neat. And the coolest part is I didn't have to code anything, right? Like I didn't have to hard code any formulas. Like certainly if you want to drill down more deeply or you're working with numerical data especially, you do definitely want to double check formulas. But in this particular case, we have largely unstructured data from a survey. And so Gemini, in just a matter of minutes, has been super helpful, helping me to like dig in, slice and dice the data in different ways, understand who should I be talking to, who is serious, like really understand some of the pain points over here. And I scrolled up here to see what else Gemini can do that I haven't tried yet. So we'll try it together. It says it can apply edits like conditional formatting and adding drop downs or inserting checkboxes. So that's interesting. So let's actually try the conditional formatting. I have no idea if this will work. So if a row is potential buyer, color it green to indicate money. Oh, nice. Okay. So all the potential buyer rows are now green, right? Like instead of me having to remember like where in the menu the conditional formatting is, I just typed it in plain English and Gemini did it for me. And let's try another open-ended one. So based on the qualitative here, what 3 questions should I be asking? Okay, so I asked Gemini this question and it said I should be asking if you could eliminate one manual step in your content workflow or instantly integrate one piece of technology, what would be and why? When you have a blank page, what's the single most effective external resource or mental shortcut? That's really interesting. And describe the journey of a single piece of content that directly led to a paying client. That is really interesting. So these are actually all really great ideas. For example, if I want to design a follow-up survey. So let's say we've identified folks who are serious and potential buyers, and we want to send them a follow-up survey to drill down on specific pain points. Or maybe you want to segment by people who said brainstorming ideas for content is their #1 challenge and send those folks a follow-up survey, right? To uncover what they do, what's the single most effective resource to help them brainstorm ideas, etc. Oh, I like this too. I didn't notice this. So you can export to docs, right? Ooh, let's do that. Okay, cool. It just automatically exported this to my Google Drive. Let's actually open it up and see what we get. That's pretty neat. So yeah, we could literally have Gemini AI brainstorm the entire follow-up survey, and it could be multiple surveys, right, to each user group, and then you can just click export and it's in a Google Doc. Okay, and the last thing I'll show you is here. If you click this icon, tools, I suspect there will be more tools in the future, but right now you can create images. I assume this is integrated with Google's Nano Banana, so let's go ahead and click that. And I'm not sure what image we're going to create, but let's create a word cloud of the recurring pain points mentioned by survey respondents. I don't know if this is going to work. We'll see. Oh, wow. It actually created this word cloud. This is based on what people were expressing as their pain points related to content creation. Time, consistency, deciding what to post, content plan. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's try something else. Let's try create a mind map of the pain points. See if that works. Okay, and here's the mind map version. This is so cool. This is really cool. So content creation pain points, time and consistency, ideation and strategy, right? Outcomes and uncertainty, execution and production. And yeah, I mean, I have actually browsed through a lot of the responses, and this is spot on in terms of the recurring language around the pain points. Not having enough time, not sure what to post, you're concerned you sound dumb or it looks fake, doesn't sound like you, like literally not having the time to film and edit the video, which is really time consuming. And like, you post, but you're not sure about the ROI. What should you be looking for? What does success look like? In conclusion, this is by far the smoothest experience I've had with AI and spreadsheets. I mean, every single thing we've tried just worked seamlessly and very quickly. I honestly expected to have to wait much longer. So just to recap some of the features we talked about, one trick I like to do with any tool that is new in AI is I just ask the tool how to use it. I'm new. What can you do, right? And we literally just went down this list of suggestions, analyzed data, and uncovered non-obvious patterns. Then we asked it to create visualizations. We went ahead and inserted those visualizations into new sheets within our spreadsheet. We had AI add this new column, and I gave it a very vague instruction, but it decided which parameters to use use in order to create this score. And then we also use this AI feature to summarize like each survey respondent's overall response in a single sentence, less than 8 words, right? So that's this column over here. Then we asked it to classify potential buyers versus people who are not serious, and also conditional formatting. So if a person is a potential buyer, highlight the row in green. I also asked Gemini open-ended questions, like based on all of this data, what 3 questions should I be asking next? And these questions it brainstormed are super useful if I'm creating follow-up surveys or outreach material to connect with those folks who responded a certain way. And then we exported it to Google Docs so we can easily copy paste from there or track it from there. And last but not least, we experimented with creating images directly here. So we asked Gemini AI to analyze all of this unstructured qualitative data and generate a word cloud representing the pain points that people continually express. So that is really, really cool to see it in that format, right? And then we also asked Gemini to create a mind map of the pain points, which it organized right here. And this was all done without any technical skill. I don't have to remember how to do things. I don't have to remember how to like apply this conditional formatting or how to write this formula, right? So this is the formula for customer seriousness score, and pre-generative AI, you'd have to write this largely manually. And I'm telling you, even 5 years ago, to be able to like whip up analysis like this from unstructured data this quickly, and honestly, this unstructured data is not clean, right? Like people can type whatever and it wasn't much sanity checking or cleanup afterwards. But Gemini AI is able to handle that. It's able to be flexible and adapt even though the data is not super clean or super structured to begin with. So I hope you enjoyed this video. By the way, my name's Sabrina Ramonov. I previously built and sold an AI company for millions of dollars, and now I teach AI to millions of people entirely for free. If you enjoyed this video, hit like, hit subscribe, and drop a comment below. I'd love to hear from you.